Yo, what's good, everybody? What's good? What's popping? What's popping? All right. Uh, First and foremost, shout outs to Sheila E. the Quiet Storm. I see that her content is getting more and more, is receiving more and more popularity. She's she's doing her thing, and I wanted to come up on the panel and speak, but her panel was kind of full, and she had other people to come up on the panel, and me, I'm pretty impatient, so I couldn't wait. So therefore, I choose to make a video on my own. So shout outs to Sheila E. the Quiet Storm, because what I'm about to say is a response to the different things I heard in her video that she made, or in her live stream that's going on right now. Now, Sheila E., she made a good live stream. It's titled Black Males. What do you bring to the table besides your money, home, car, and business? You know, and that's a pretty good, and that's a pretty decent question. What's going on, Shaka Nulu? And that's a pretty good question. And I would like to give another shout out to China White, because she made one of the best points when she was on the panel. She made one of the best points, which is this: that these topics, when it comes to dating and relationships, is so redundant in this space. You know, when it comes to dating and relationships, I believe that most people, not all, but most people in the so-called black sector of YouTube need to shut the fuck up and stop talking about dating and relationships. Because when I hear people open their mouth and speak about dating, relationships, marriage, and all that stuff, most of them don't know what the fuck they're talking about. For real. Most people, and it's like, and I keep watching these videos when it comes to dating and relationships, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, huh? What the fuck that motherfucker said? You know, like, okay, let me give one example on Sheila E's panel, right? Once again, the title of Sheila E's live stream that's going on right now is based on a question. And it's a very good question. It's a very direct question, asking the so-called black male, what do they bring to the table in relationships aside from resources? Basically, what intangibles do you bring? What type of structure do you bring to the table when it comes to relationships and marriages and dating and what have you? Now, there was a few people, right, who came on the panel, and when they're about to answer the question, they respond by saying, well, it depends. And let me tell you something. If you ask someone a direct question and they answer in the first two words, as in the response to a direct question that you ask them, is it depends, right after that, they're going to tell you some bullshit. They're going to beat around the bush. Because if someone, and I say that because if someone asks you a direct question, if you're going to answer that direct question, then you're obligated to give a direct answer. And saying the and when you direct and when you answer a direct question by beginning it by saying it depends, you're not giving a direct answer. You basically do not know, like Shaka Nulu says. That's just another way to say I don't know, but I'm going to pretend that I do know, because I want to give the impression that I know what I'm talking about, when in reality, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, because I'm in no position to speak about this topic, because I don't know shit about this damn topic, but I'm going to keep talking about this topic anyway, because once again, I want to make myself look good, when in reality, I'm making myself look stupid, because I'm saying some shit that's coming out my mouth that don't make no motherfucking sense. And this is the type of mentality you got with a lot of these dumbass motherfuckers on YouTube. I'm telling you, there's too many stupid motherfuckers that want to talk on a topic that they don't know what the fuck they talking about. It depends. It depends. Motherfucker, if someone asks you a direct question, you give a motherfucking direct answer. It depends. It's not a direct answer. Yeah. Fake it till they motherfucking make it. When in reality, when you faking it, you're not making shit. Fuck wrong with these people, man. What's up, Black Curls? What's up? What's up, Sheed? What's going on? Yeah. Black Curls. What did Black Curl? Black Curl says the art of shutting the fuck up is a very neglected art. Exactly. If you don't know some shit, shut the fuck up. Listen, if I don't know some shit, I'm shutting the fuck up. And the only time I'm going to open my mouth is to ask a question. Because you know why? Because I don't know something, but I want to know. So therefore, I'm going to inquire to know. Outside of that, if I don't know some shit, I'm going to shut the fuck up. Jersey Ham, what's good? Jersey Hammer says, because too many people are full of shit. Exactly. Both sides of the relationship discussion need to clean their own houses before they talk in the other side's house. Exactly. Exactly, Jersey Hammer. Exactly. And another thing, that was some old bullshit that I heard on Sheila E's panel, right? Because there was a few of the males who came on the panel and stated that, you know, they basically answered the question stating that, I'm talking about Sheila E's question, stating that they bring structure, order, and discipline to the table in a relationship and or marriage, right? So then there was a few females who got offended at the fact that there was a few females on the panel and even in the chat who got offended at the fact that the male said that they bring discipline to a relationship or a marriage. So then what happened is that one female came on the panel. I'm not going to mention that female's name. And then she came up and brought up some fucking assumptions and exaggerations because the term discipline ticked her the fuck off. And then she's sitting there saying some old feminist shit, talking about how come in a relationship men have to discipline a woman? I'm basically paraphrasing. That's not what she said verbatim, but in context, that's what she was saying, right? So this female was stating some shit like, oh, how come men want to discipline a woman in a relationship? See, that sounds abusive. That sounds like you speaking to a dog. I'm not a dog. I'm a fully grown adult with a fully developed brain like you, and all this other bullshit. Then she tried to exaggerate, like I said before, by making it seem that the males on the panel who stated that they bring discipline to a relationship or a marriage is a form of abuse, when there's a fine line between discipline and abuse. All right? Discipline and abuse have two different definitions. But she was trying to exaggerate and trying to make it seem like the males who state that they bring discipline to a fucking relationship or a marriage is somehow being abusive and controlling. And then she said, well, that's why women would rather just pay bills and walk out. And then somebody, which is Rudent, shout out to my man Rudent, says, well, I don't give a fuck. Walk the fuck out then. What's going on, Brownsburg? What's up? Right? So it's like, hold on for a minute. This is why I don't understand. Because like Auntie said on the chat in that video, that discipline is necessary because discipline in a marriage and in a relationship is what brings structure and order. And you need structure and order in a relationship. Discipline is really what discipline is in a nutshell, is to correct any wrongs that's being done. And although we all grown, we all are adults, but the fact of the matter is none of us are perfect. So we're bound to do wrong. And when we do wrong, discipline is necessary to correct those wrongs. And when I say discipline is necessary, I'm not talking about beating somebody up, smacking somebody in the face, beating somebody down. But discipline can be something as easy as correcting somebody and sitting back and explain to them why what they did is wrong, if they did something wrong, what to do to mitigate that wrong that they did, how to clean it up, and both making an agreement on making sure this thing doesn't happen again. That's a form of discipline right there. And discipline keeps people in line. It keeps people in order. And in a relationship or in a marriage, you need order. Why? Because order brings structure. Structure brings organization. And when it comes to organization is what brings in peace. It's what brings in peace of mind. It's what brings in a healthy, balanced lifestyle every single day when a person wakes up and even go to sleep at the end of the day. So then when you got the specific female that try to make it seem that the males who talk about that they bring discipline into the table when it comes to a relationship or a marriage, and trying to make it seem as if she's being abusive, she should just say straight up. She should just straight up say that she just doesn't like to be told what to do. That's it. Just say, like Brownsburg said in the chat, just say, I'm a strong, independent woman, and I don't like no man telling me what to do. Why? Because I'm just hard-headed like that. See, if she would say some shit like that, that would be more honest. It'll be more genuine. It'll be more sincere. And motherfuckers in the panel would respect that shit. And this is what I find so funny, because you always got females, right? Almost every female who speak about what they want in a man, they talk about they want an alpha male, especially in these fucking spaces. They talk about they want an alpha male. They want a man that's a leader. They want a man that know how to take charge. They want a man that know how to be a protector. Well, guess what? In order for a man to be able to do these things, one of the main qualities that he needs to have is fucking discipline. And that's what he needs to bring to the table in a relationship or in a marriage, is discipline. There's no such thing as a leader that don't know how to bring discipline to the group or the organization that he or she is leading. Jackass. Motherfuckers is dumb. This is common sense, man. I'm not saying nothing profound. See, no disrespect, no, fuck it. With all due disrespect, if anybody is listening to what I'm saying and think that what I'm saying is profound, you're fucking retarded. Because this is common sense. Common sense. If you don't have common sense, you're a retard. These motherfuckers don't know shit. That's why a lot of these motherfuckers should not be talking about relationship or marriages, including Kevin stupid ass Samuels. That's another dumb motherfucker. But that's for another thing. That's for another story. But anyhow, what's going on, R Jizzle? R Jizzle, what's up? Brownsburg said something in the chat. Let me see what Brownsburg said. Brownsburg said, because it's easy to have a conversation about love where it doesn't require a lot of research. It's just hot air and comfort talks. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Jersey Hammer says, not for nothing, most every relationship I have been in, including my marriage, their parents either were single mothers running the house, or the woman called the shots within the confines of the house. And you know what, Jersey Hammer? Within that type of structure, where the mother is in control, she's the disciplinary. Why? Because she has to be, because if she's a single mother, that means she's the leader of the household, and the leader have to bring in discipline. So when you got these broads that talk about that they want a man that know how to lead, well, guess what? Part of knowing how to lead is to be able to bring discipline, to know when to put their foot down to somebody, to know when to correct somebody. You know. Exactly, Shaka Nulu. A leader control his cipher. What's going on, R Jizzle? Jersey Hammer says, like, my wife is really the only woman I got involved with whose parents are still married. Her mom called the shots within the confines of the house, and her father represented the household outside. Okay, well, you know, that's their. Well, if they was all right with that type of household, then hey, it is what it is. Black Curl says they want the benefits. Notice how she only mentioned the benefits of an alpha male. Yeah, that's what a lot of females do when they speak about how much they want an alpha male. They speak about the benefits. But an alpha male, which is a male who knows how to bring discipline, That's a benefit also, because when somebody brings in discipline, you know that this person is going to be honest with you when it comes to talk about what you're doing right and what you're doing is wrong. And when a and when a man it brings discipline to a marriage or a relationship, they're doing that to look out for their significant other, to look after their significant other, to make sure that their significant other, and their significant other is doing the right thing, to make sure that their significant other is not destroying her life alongside the household and the environment that she's in. And another motherfucking thing too, some bitch ass nigga came on Sheila E's panel. Like I said, shout out to Sheila E. Sheila E's my homegirl. You know what I'm saying? Sheila E is my homegirl, but but you got a lot of strange characters that be coming on your panel, Sheila E. I'm telling you, these characters won't fucking last on my motherfucking panel. Shit. But you have a lot of strange motherfucking characters, man. And this other bitch ass nigga who came in, I don't know what the fuck his name is. He claimed that he's been married for 24 years. And if that's the case, congratulations to his bitch ass, right? But he said some stupid shit. He was so stupid, he didn't even know that he was contradicting himself. See, he was one of these bitch ass niggas that come on YouTube and want to basically show out to make himself look good on front of all the other bitches that's on the panel and that's listening. Anyway, he's one of the like, he says he was bragging about how he's been married for 24 years and he have no control over his home. And he bragged about that. I'm like, hold on for a minute. How you a grown man, you're married for 24 years and you have no control over the home? Realistically, in a couple, whether it's a married couple or any type of relationship, someone is going to be in a position of control and someone is not. So if you as a man don't have control of the household, that means your wife have control over the household. Now, if you're comfortable with that as a man, that's on you. But don't sit there and be a grown-ass man and brag about you not having control over your marriage. That means you're bragging about not being the leader. You're actually bragging as a man of being submissive of whoever do have control over your household. And then, but he was so stupid, he didn't understand that he contradicted himself at the same time, because he says something like in the terms of, I don't have control over my marriage, but at the same time, he said, I sit back and I coach my marriage. So you have people on the panel, even people in the chat, says, hold on. A coach has control over the team. In any sport, whether it's professional sports, amateur sports, a coach is the one who controls the team. Why? Because the coach dictates the roles of each player on the team. The coach dictates who's going to play in the team and who's going to sit in the bench. Okay? The coach dictates how long each player will play on the floor or on the field. And the coach dictates the play that's going to be made. The coach dictates the strategy that's going to be made, that the team is going to make in order for them to hopefully win the game against the opposing team. So the coach is in control of the damn team. So if you say you're the coach of your household, you're saying that you do control your household. Thus, you contradict yourself when you said that you don't have any control of your household. And the brothers on the panel was telling him this, and he didn't understand that. Then he's going to argue and talk about how the coaches have no control over the team. Nigga, are you stupid? You don't even have to watch sports in order to understand how much control a coach has over the performance of a team. Jersey Hammer says, it's like my pit bull. Okay, the black pit bull that you got in your avatar. The expectation is she is going to be a lapdog for us, but if we were accosted, she is expected to attack the aggressor. Yeah. That's true. Shaka says he was the pitcher that needs to be pulled out the game. His fastball is too slow. Exactly. 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 It's like when this is why these talks on relationships in this space need to stop. All right. They need to stop because it's filled with a lot of people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So I dropped the link in the chat. Man. Oh my gosh. Especially, I got to get into this bullshit about when people say that people don't marry because of love. People marry because of a business. They try to say that marriage is a business, that people don't marry for love. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I've heard a lot of people stated when it comes to marriage within the past year. They talk about married people marry for Sheed. I see you backstage, Sheed. Sheed, I'm gonna pull you on the panel for in a few minutes, but I'm gonna get this thing out first. So, Sheed, I see you backstage. Please be patient with me. I will put you on, but I got to get this thing out first. Okay. When people say this bullshit that people marry for business reasons and people don't marry for love, okay, she said in the private chat, he got me. All right, cool. Right? That's stupid. See, this is proof that a lot of people don't understand that there's different levels to shit, that there are nuances. Okay? People don't understand the different nuances of shit. In a marriage, there are multiple aspects that consist of a marriage. There are multiple layers to a marriage. So yes, there is a business and financial aspect to a marriage. You know, what's up, Aegon? Right. You know, but there's also a romance aspect to a marriage, where if you marry to someone, right? You know, when you marry someone, the expectation should be to spend the rest of your life with that person, right? Of course, we understand realistically, not all marriages end up in a lifetime, span, because people end up getting divorces or whatever. But what I'm saying is that the expectation for two people to be married should be to be with each other for life. How the hell are you gonna have the expectation to spend the rest of your life with someone that you don't love? So there's a love aspect to marriage. There's a romance aspect to marriage. There's a financial aspect to marriage, like I said. So yes, there's a business side to marriage. Marriage is not only a business, but there is a business side to it. Okay? Because why? Because when two people are married, they now form one household. Guess what? That household need food in their bellies. They need a roof over their head. What's going on, Complex Design? The household need a roof over their head. The household need clothes over their back, shoes in their feet. You know, they need running water run up and down inside their house. They need electricity. So how can that household have the ability to have these things and maintain these things? They need money. So thus they need money. Thus they need to put money into that household. And not only that, if you plan to have kids, you definitely need money, because these are other mouths you have to feed, clothe, and maintain a roof over their heads. Okay? And not only that, but any decent person would want themselves and their children to live in the best environment as possible. Well, realistically, in the Western Hemisphere, the better environment that you want to live in, the more money you're going to have to pay, because a neighborhood that's in a better environment is going to cost more. So yes, you're going to need to invest more money you're going to need to bring in resources inside that household. And you're going to need to invest inside that household so the household could have more resources. So that's the business aspect to marriage. But that's not the only aspect to a marriage. There's also a spiritual aspect to a marriage, where if you're with somebody, right? If you're with somebody, the scripture says, when it comes to a marriage, that a man and a woman shall be one flesh. That a man shall leave the confines of his mother and father, and then cleave onto his wife, and the two shall be one flesh. When it speaks about the two being one flesh, they speak about not only two being one household, the two becoming one household, but the two joining each other in spirit. For now, you're conjoined together in spirit, which is why if you guys ever been in a committed relationship or in a marriage with somebody, right? Certain you could sense that something's wrong with your with your spouse. You know, it's like, let's say for example, right? You could look at your spouse. If you've been with a person long enough, right? You could just sit down and look at that person and you know something's wrong. And even if you say, "Hey baby, something's wrong," and your woman said, "Nah," you know that she's lying. You know that she's lying. And the same thing the other way around too, where your significant other could look at you and know something's wrong. And you don't have to say shit. They know something's wrong. Why? Because both of your spirit are conjoined together. So it's like now, since you're joined as one in spirit, you able to read each other. You have that intuitive mindset where you could read each other. It's like, even let's just say your significant other is out of the house. I know they went out, they went to work or something, and you're inside the house. And deep down inside, you sense that something's wrong. You sense something's wrong that's going on. That's because in spirit, you and your significant other are conjoined together as one. So therefore, you're able to read each other spiritually or subconsciously. So there's a spiritual aspect to a marriage. There's also a cultural aspect to a marriage, or in a commitment. I'm sorry, I'm slurring over my words right now. There's a cultural aspect in a marriage or in a committed relationship. Why? Because the cultural aspect, because that's what culture does. A cultural aspect establishes the moral or the value system of a household, and it also establishes the role of each person within that household. That's what the culture does. So there's different aspects to a fucking marriage. What's up, She? Thank you for being patient with me. You know?
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So go ahead, Sheet. I'm done speaking. Go ahead. You got the floor.
Yeah, when I was over there, man, it was just a cluster. And that dude, uh, Capone,
Yeah, we
whatever.
don't need to mention
Oh, okay,
the
okay,
names of
okay.
insignificant
Cool,
niggas out here. You know?
cool. So basically, that dude, man, like just hearing him every time he get on the panel, it's a whole nother topic. Either we weak as men, we can't do nothing for ourselves. The system got us down, or these people are out here, making the community look bad. We need to get them out of here. And I'm like, how you supposed to do this? Like, it's always never a solution to how we can fix stuff. It's like our hands are tied. We can't do nothing. We just got to deal with it. We got to put up with it. Even in the case of getting in a relationship. And I'm like, if the women out here are bad, because most of the guys say, well, the good women, they are already married, and the other women, they in bad relationship. So all we got is trash from related people, women out here. Well, just leave them all alone then. At the end of the day, I mean, you got to deal with what you got. And if you don't want, it's like going into a restaurant and you want pizza, and they say, "Well, we out of pizza today." If you don't want the hot dogs or the hot wings, go to another restaurant. If you don't want to go to another restaurant, then you just can't have pizza. You just gonna go without. And
It's
that's the
that easy.
thing.
It's
Yeah.
that easy. Go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you good. No, it's just that easy. Like he was going into this whole thing about, man, the girls treat men like this, the girls do women like this, but you choose to accept that. And then why do you want to get into a relationship with somebody knowing these expectations? Because first off, well, she come from a single married mother. Well, that's your protocol. Women come from a single parent household, you know it's going to be expected. So you can kind of roll the dice, or you can go in there and say, okay, these are the things I don't want, and she got these. I'm out of there, just point blank. I done seen dudes go on a date with a woman, and the way she talked, be like, man, I'm gonna go ahead and pay for this food, but it ain't working out. Just mid conversation, Like I said, I'd have been in a relationship, well, not a relationship, but I'd have been on a date to where I seen a chick, like go at her waitress, and I'm like, hold on, she going hard in the paint at the waitress, and she bringing the food. She ain't cooking the food. She gets the food when it's done and bring it to the table. If you come at her like that, but you all nice to me, that means you got it in you. Why do I need to deal with somebody that's gonna be two-faced one day and reveal themselves? I see how you are now. Like I said, just cut my losses and yeah, we good.
You see, you see, everybody that's listening right now, what she is talking about in a nutshell is being able to analyze and use critical thinking skills to look at the red flags of any person of the opposite sex that you meet, who you want to consider to be your significant other, being able to analyze that person. And if you analyze that person and you see that that person has characteristics that you don't deem to be suitable for what you're looking for in a relationship, then the easiest thing to do is just end things. And she, you make a good point, because you do have a lot of males who, on one hand, they complain about the lack of quality females that exist, but yet are stupid enough to engage in having relations with those same females that they complain about.
Mm.
You don't do that. So, and then you want to complain some more, but yet you're actually, what you're actually doing is throwing yourself off the cliff, knowing that there's a cliff. You know what I'm saying? And then when you fall down and break your leg, you're crying about how your leg's broken. Well, shit, you did that to yourself. Common sense.
Yep.
Avoid it, prevent
Yep.
it by knowing how
Yep.
to end things. Yeah,
Yeah.
but then again, it goes down to a lot of people in this space that don't know what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to relationships and marriages. They don't know what they're talking about a
And,
lot of
and
times.
yeah. And another bad thing with that is too is this is not the woman for you. 9 times out of 10 you never would deal with any woman like this. So when the date is over, don't try to hit. Just leave. I talk about the oops babies all the time. With dudes like, man, I'm just gonna hit one time, man. Man, this girl ratchet. She came to the date with blue hair, and all her profile she had black hair. I should have knew when I seen that one picture when she had blonde hair, and I just figured it was around Halloween. Come on, man, cut it out. You seen a little bit of that freaking, and you want to go ahead and hit. Just leave it alone. And like you said, my thing is this: if a man has got a divorce, I will take advice from him, because all the relationships that he's got wrong, like multiple divorces, that shows me how to be a better person, because I seen your pitfalls, so I know how to step over those pitfalls. Now, a person that's been married for some years, I can see your challenges or your successes and implement it to myself, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna go by the blueprint. But the point of it is, I'm gonna take a page from you, and I'm gonna take a page from that man, because Bruce Lee said it best: eat the meat, spit out the bone. Why am I going to live my life according to the way you live? Love is subjective according to the person. I can't love my girl like I love my mother. I can't love my wife like I love my ex before the relationship. You have to adjust it according to the person. So, same as advice. So I might say, man, all the best freaks are this, and these are the best wives in the church or whatever. Go from there. You can listen to it, but you adjust it yourself and tweak it a little, because everything is not to perfection. People are trying to go blueprint. I live this way, I did this way, do what I did, you'll be successful. That's not the case. Different time, different era.
Exactly, exactly. And people have to be able, and I think you mentioned this, so I'm probably just repeating what you're saying, but people have to be able to understand what they want for themselves and
Facts.
what they want within their own households and what they're able to tolerate and not tolerate. So therefore, you can't automatically copy every single aspect of someone else's blueprint. You can't do that, and other people can't expect others to copy their blueprint as if their blueprint is the one unanimous correct blueprint. You know what I'm saying? There's no one blueprint that's correct. You know, there's different blueprints that's correct, and there are different blueprints that's incorrect. There's no one unanimous right blueprint or one unanimous wrong blueprint. So therefore,
Mhm.
people have to know what blueprint to set for themselves. And the best way for them to do that, one of the best ways for them to do that is like you said, she sit back and observe and look at other people's, relationship and listen to other people's stories on how they dealt with their marriages, their past marriages, and take the meat and spit out the bones. Take a page from each person's experience and take a page from each person's mistakes and learn from it, because you don't always have to learn from your own mistakes in life. You could also learn from other people's mistakes and know why not to make that same mistake or that same bad decision also. But
Yeah.
you know and you could, and once again, that can be applied when it comes to a person making the decision of what type of relationship or marriage that they're looking for, that's suitable and conducive for themselves. It's that easy. This is not complicated. It's
Mhm.
easy. It's common sense. But sense is not that common along this sector of YouTube.
Yeah.
you know yeah. you
Yeah,
know
because I mean, I don't understand like what doctor is out here giving advice about how to tune up a car, and he has no idea of doing anything but surgery and doing surgical procedures. He don't know what Allen. He don't even know what a Philip between the Phillip head and the flathead. But he's sitting up here trying to tell you, you know, I heard something that they say it's a torque this, and you use this little thingy to turn these bolts, and this thingy thing work. Now you could tell me about the vessels and the cut arteries and stuff, but you giving me advice about mechanic work? Yeah, you grab the thingy and you like that. This is what we listen to in YouTube all the time. I could tell you how to get girls. I could tell you about this, but like I keep saying, nobody's going to where decide about business. The men in this space, we always talk about the protectors and providers. If women don't get on the page, we're the protectors and the providers. We supposed to have more, control of a situation. So if they don't want to stand in line or get in line, just move on. I don't have to deal with any woman because the culture or because I'm black and all this, your mama black, so you need to deal with black women stuff. No, I can stay by myself. I can deal with any race of woman I want to deal with because why? I'm in the pursuit of happiness. At the end of the day, if I want to just only deal with black women, cool. I don't want to deal with certain women. Hey, I have my own picking because at the end of the day, I always tell women this: it's a job application. You apply for this job with me. You could say, well, I don't want like the guy was talking about with the controlling, and I mean when the woman was complaining about a controlling man that's abusive and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, you choose to stay in that relationship because you can leave. If the man is controlling, leave. If the woman thinks the man's controlling, leave. Just simple as that. I've never heard no one say, man, this guy beat me every day, give me all the stuff I want. I'm just gonna stay here till I die.
right.
Everybody has a choice.
Right.
So many women complain about this issue. I'm gonna be finished. So many women complain about this issue, but how many women say I left? They want to stay and get everything, but they don't want to be treated a certain way. But I don't want to work. I want you to pay for me a diamond ring. I want you to buy me a car. All this, but I just want the commands to stop and the abuse to stop. Leave.
Right, right. And it's like, okay, I'm glad you brought up that point, because the whole point of that female speaking about abuse was just an exaggeration to try to make it
Hmm.
seem like males who bring in leadership and who enforces leadership within their household is being abusive. That's the whole thing she was trying to exaggerate and basically manipulate people into thinking that males who do bring in discipline are just being abusive, as if a discipline is a form of abuse when it's not. Like I said earlier in the stream, there's a fine line between abuse and discipline. But like you said before, if that's the case, if a female is in a situation where her significant other is abusing her, the easiest thing to do is leave. All right. But, like you said, once again, you brought up another good point when you speak about how a lot of females who state that bullshit, they want the benefits, but they don't want to put in the necessary work in order to earn those benefits. I mean, benefits don't just come at a snap of a finger. You have to earn the benefits that you're looking for. And the thing is that in a committed relationship or in a marriage, it's work. It's work. You have to work for what you want. If you want, if both sides want the relationship or the marriage or the household to improve, both have to work on it. Once again, common sense. And the work that you bring, the fruit of the work that you put into that relationship, is what you're going to get to benefit out of that relationship or that marriage. Once again, common sense. It's just like what? The fruits of your labor. You got to work in order to sow the fruits, in order to sow the seed, and the fruits out of that seed is going to come out, but they come out as a result of the work you put in. Common sense. Common sense. So, so if you're talking about, so if you got females who talk about they want a man who's a leader, who's an alpha male, who take charge, will understand that alpha male is going to expect some work to come out of you. You're gonna have to put in the work and utilize your role to your best of your ability as a woman, and vice versa too.
Yep.
I mean, to me, it's common sense. This is common sense. I'm not saying nothing profound. I'm giving common sense. I'm not giving anything that consists of rocket science or quantum physics or the theory of relativity. I'm giving just pure common sense. And it's a damn shame that a lot of people in this space just don't have that common sense. But I've been speaking for too long. You got the floor, Sheed.
No, I mean, the thing is common sense. When it comes down to it, that's why I talk about with Gold P. I say a lot of times with certain channels, nobody wants to go over there because they got to hold themselves accountable. I can't come over here, and I like the way your channel and Gold P is structured because it's discipline. Prefer not to talk, over people. Preferring not all the cussing and everything. Like Gold P always talk about throwing epithets and slandering and going at people a certain way, and it shows that you got to be disciplined, know how to carry yourself. Like the old people say, act like you've been there before. You know, carry yourself in a different manner in which the community is different in the neighborhood. The neighborhood, you go to have fun there, joke and play, horse around, but in the community, there's order there. And when it comes down to it, a lot of people want to go to the neighborhood because they don't want to have to deal with the order. You know, like I tell people all the time, this is YouTube. I can come on here and become a doctor. Nobody never know. Read a couple of books, expunge, a couple of little things, go to a friend's house or go to a dealership, show a car, go to a nice house that's a rental and show that off. Everybody thinks I'm a doctor. Everybody you be a perception of anything on these channels. But the point of it is, once you cut that off, that's your true life. And this is the fairy tale land. Like I tell people, I'm in the truck most of the day, and when I get off there, I do a little other stuff. But still, I can be on panels and stuff while I'm driving. Most of the time, you see me flip my camera, and I be up there working or something. But other than that, I'm like, that's it. I mean, I like I say, I basically always say this. I came to this space for the knowledge. I was Eric. I ain't say the name, but she basically had me come over here. Was talking about finance with BG, but when it came down to it, I was just here for all the knowledge, as far as dealing with finance, economics, making money. I was all for that. When I came over to this space, I'm like, I get it, what's going on, because a lot of guys are getting an unfair deal. But the point of it is, you choose to stay in that mindset. Just don't deal with those people. Don't deal with the women. You know, I don't have to keep constantly going to a party in which people talk about me every time I go there. Why not just don't go over there? Same thing with the panels. It's like mental torture. They love it. Women will go to a panel where no, this guy doesn't like you, or these guys are talking a certain way to women, and you still just so happen to find the notification, pop up or be over there on the same time. These guys over here has cussed you out 20 times, or you ran into certain people on the panel that say, I don't like you. But every single time they pop up on the panels, hey y'all, trying to be nice. Like I always say, poking the bear and trying to see what they can get.
Right. Exactly. Right. And for the record, right, because a few people asked me what stream am I talking about when I was speaking about the stream. So I put the link of the stream that I'm talking about in the chat. Now, if anybody plan to click on the link of the stream, excuse me, of the live stream that I'm talking about, please don't go there and antagonize anybody, because the host of that stream I'm very cool with. That's Sheila E. the Quiet Storm. She's a cool person. Okay. And I'm not even talking about the host, because the host of that stream, once again, which is Sheila E., I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about the people that's some of the people that was in her stream saying a whole bunch of nonsense. But once again, for those of you guys that's watching that sees the link, if you plan to go there, don't go there and try to antagonize anybody. All right. Don't try to antagonize and argue with anybody. Of course, you're free to state your opinion and comment, but don't go there and try to disrespect anyone.
Yeah.
All right. Especially when it comes to the host of the panel. Don't do that, because I'm cool with the host. All right. But yeah, but Shaka Nulu says, Nashi, they get emails or texts. It's not a coincidence. Yeah, they get emails or texts, or they even subscribe to the channel of the person that they dislike. You know what I'm saying? Because
Exactly.
some people like the drama. Some people like the drama, but you know, if yeah, but I do agree that when it comes to relationships and dating, if a person don't like the type of relationship that they're in, they got to get out. Get out and leave. But at the same time, if we're going to speak about relationships and dating, it is fair for someone to bring about the truth of the flaws of the opposite sex, and what
Mhm.
and what a certain collective experience being around the opposite sex on both sides. But then again, like I said before, once you realize the flaws of a certain populace of the opposite sex, now you have to be able to analyze. If you go out into the dating market, analyze which person fits the description of what you don't like and which person fits the description of what you do like, and choose the one who fits the description of what you do like the most. Once again, this is common sense. This is nothing profound. But I just don't get where the lack of common sense is coming from when it comes to people speaking about these topics. And I got to go back to what my homegirl China White says when it comes to these types of conversations in this space. They end up becoming very redundant because people are just repeating the same talking points over and over and over and over again. And it's like, okay, is there any improvement between the black male and female when it comes to the black male and female relations? Is there any improvement after these conversations are over? No. No.
No. Mm.
So because a lot of time with these conversations, not only are they redundant, is that a lot of people are very disingenuous when they speak on these topics. They're very disingenuous. Not all people who speak on these topics, but a good amount do, in my opinion. And not only that, disingenuous, they're dishonest, and a lot of times, like I said before, people are just speaking about some shit that they know nothing about.
Hmm. Yeah.
And that's some
Especially their
bullshit.
opinion. It's
Yeah.
their opinions. That's all they come with, their opinions to about it. You know, my truth, basically. Not the facts, but my truth. You know, like I talked to a young guy and I was telling him, he was like, he's raised around a whole bunch of women. He had one guy tell him something, and I was like, you're gonna live your life vicariously through a group of females and one male. I said, you you're gonna get lost. You don't have no man, no male structure. That's why you don't like dealing with men. That's why you have fights and argument with men, because you had one guy to teach you something, and it's just like the Shaolin monks, or going into the Buddha training. You didn't finish your training. Your teacher, didn't give you the whole course. You lost. You know, that's
Right.
like going to step 5 and you stop at step 3. And you're like, what's how to do the finishing move? Playing Mortal Kombat, you hit the wrong button, the finishing move don't go through.
Right.
That's the thing.
Right. Right. And that's what we have here. That's what we have here. A bunch of redundants.
Hmm.
A bunch of redundants. That's what we have here. And, it's just crazy. This shit is crazy because I just can't understand how you got adults older than me and older than you, Rashid, that just don't understand these simple things. They just don't get it. But like you said, a lot of people lack the proper discipline. They lack the proper structure. They lack wisdom. A lot of people lack wisdom. And the thing is, when it comes to speaking about these topics, the only people that should be speaking about it are people with experience and or wisdom on these types of things. And it seems like a lot of people, maybe they have some experience, because everybody by a certain age have some sort of relationship experience, but they don't have wisdom. They don't have wisdom. They don't have they don't have um, discernment. They don't have the proper foresight or even a proper level of morals and standards to be able to speak about relationships and marriages on a deep level. But yet they come out here on these panels, speak about these topics, give a whole word salad, when in context the word salad don't even make any goddamn sense. It's just funny, man. It's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
because that's the same thing I say about steel sharpens steel. Men deal with each other. If I'm gonna go into a relationship, that's like my granddad when I was telling him I was gonna get married. He was like, "Look, I'm gonna give you one good advice about getting married." He said, "Me and your grandma didn't work out, so I ended up getting remarried. But the thing of it is, don't have a big wedding." He said, "The bigger the wedding, the faster the divorce." And he said, "Just look at your friends, talk to people." I talked to several guys. A lot of guys had big marriages. They told me the same thing. Man, I'm still paying on the marriage right now, and I've been divorced with a chick for 5 years. Dude, one of my partners
Damn.
had a huge wedding, man. I think his wedding, I think it cost him a little bit close to 40, 50,000. Big wedding, chapel, all that stuff. Big, but that was just a wedding. The vacation alone, I think they say they spent 'cause they went to the Bahamas, stayed there for a week, rented cars and all this stuff. I forgot what he's talking about uh the honeymoon, but I mean, just crazy on the wedding. Like she had like 10,000 some thousand-dollar gown. That wasn't included in the expenses for the wedding. That was just basically for the chapel, the food, pastor, and I guess the catering little stuff with that. That's it. That didn't include her dress. That didn't include the honeymoon. That was extra stuff he spent. But both of them was making like close like 100,000 a year, so they just balled out. Like she had already been planning for some of that stuff, and her dad he kicked in a whole lot, you know. So they just balled out with that. But end up close to 5 years later, they end up getting divorced, you know. And so I talked to other men, as men, I talk to them, come from that, oh man, single mom, this. I was like, man, that's a joke. Once you get 18 and once you get to a certain age, you start knowing that all the stuff that you've been fed is a lie. Every time you go around a certain man or a certain guy, your mom get a certain way, or a dude that comes in with some type of structure in the house and your mom don't like him, most of the time that guy pull you to the side. Hey, buddy, do this and do that. Don't do this, don't do that. So I don't hear all this, man. I was never around real men. That's a lie. You chose not to be around real men because you got into this mommy mode, and the man that was trying to teach you something is like, you making me go against my family. Nah, man. I'm like, when it come down to it, these guys know right from wrong. They choose to follow that path. Just like that gentleman said, hey, that's his structure. That's how he run his house. If it worked for him, it worked for him. But that's not the norm for everybody else. I'm not in that situation where, I mean, like you said, he contradicted himself so bad. He's the captain, but he's not running the team. I guess the quarterback runs the team, and he just makes sure the quarterback is capable of running the plays or something. I don't know, but that right there,
Right.
it didn't make no sense to me. I'm like, but when it come down to it, steel sharpens steel, man. You deal with men that'll help you succeed in life. My boys. I'm not gonna let my boys be around a group of women to raise them. They're gonna be men, so they need to be around men. Just plain as day.
Correct. Correct. That's correct. That's correct. Be around men. That's correct. That's absolutely correct. But Sheet, it was great talking to you.
All
But
right.
I'm about to end this hangout. Yeah. I see no one else want to pop in, so and I'm about to end it anyway because I gotta go do some things. But you know, so if you want to, are there any final thoughts that you would like to give before I end the stream?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, just like the way you vet these women, vet people information, man. Come on. Don't be that
Exactly.
biased to where you just listen to people when they tell you something, man. Pigs fly all the time in certain people, realm of where they live. So you gotta take that food for thought, man. Understand who you're talking to and what information they're getting from you. Because I mean, if it's helpful, it's already been applied. If it's harmful, 9 times out of 10, it's been heard and it's been dished to the side. So do your research.
All right, Sheet. All right. Thank you for your final thoughts.
All
All
right.
right. So have a great night. Have a great night. Be safe.
All right now.
All
Yep.
right, bro. But all right. So like I was saying, man. Like I said, and like the title of the video says, most people in Black YouTube need to stop talking about dating, relationships, and marriages because that topic is a little bit too advanced for most people in this space. And it's obvious when you sit back and listen to the type of and listen to the conversations that speaks about that topic that a lot of people come in and don't know what the hell they're talking about. Exactly, New. There's a difference between knowledge and tricknology. Yeah. And she said some profound things, especially in his final thoughts when he said, just like how you have to vet people in everyday life, you have to do the same thing when it comes to information, especially on here. And one of the best ways to be able to vet information is if you do your own research. You do your own independent research and you be an independent thinker and think for your damn self. And when you do that, you'll be able to pick out and decipher the truth from the lies. Because there's a whole lot of lies that are being told in this part of YouTube, and you have a lot of gullible ass motherfuckers that believe in these dumbass lies. you know, try to make discipline seem like abuse. That if a grown man says that he brings discipline to the table when it comes to marriages and relationships, that, oh, he's being abusive. What type of dumb shit is that? So discipline is abuse? I mean, when you go to work, right? For those of you who actually have a job, guess what? There are disciplinary rules, right? Companies have disciplinary actions and rules to instill discipline within their organization. Hell, even in here on YouTube, there are rules and regulations on YouTube for so YouTube can instill discipline. And whoever break these rules will will and can suffer disciplinary actions, whether it comes to your account being suspended, whether it comes to your videos being not being monetized, or whether or not it comes to you getting arrested. Hell, even the laws of the land, the local, state, and federal laws that you must follow on an everyday basis when you go out in society is based on discipline or instilling discipline within that society for so everyone in the society could be safe. And if you break these laws, there are disciplinary actions that you'll suffer from. Why? Because discipline is necessary in order to have any type of healthy and structural society. If you want to have a balanced environment, discipline is necessary. So for someone to come in and try to make it seem as if a man who brings discipline to a relationship or a marriage is being abusive, so what you're saying is that every aspect of society that have rules and regulations are abusive, right? See how easy it is for me to just poke holes at people's logic. Because you know why? Because the arguments that a lot of people make in here don't make any fucking sense. Therefore, it's easy for a person like me who have common sense to point out all the little discrepancies within people's weak ass statements. But anyhow, I'm done with this shit. You know, I'm about to close up. You know, people in so-called black YouTube need to stop talking about relationships, dating, and marriages because most of them don't know shit about that topic. Dumb motherfuckers.